because I was so cold.
Oh,
And
from
that didn't do anything to warm me up, but definitely helped me pee a lot.
Well, I think too, going through the detox, thank goodness you were at a state where you were already losing some of that, that toxin.
Right.
So at the same time, the more toxins were coming in, you probably had a little bit more of a reaction, not a reaction, but the symptoms, because your body was already in mode to get rid of them. So it was processing them.
Oh, I didn't even
Instead
think
of
about that.
storing it and hiding it as a known, it got rid of it. So you were processing it and experiencing it as live to get it out of you. So you were getting all of those symptoms heightened.
Wow. Okay, hold on. Here she is. Let me get you off my earbud really quick.
Hi.
Hi, Meg. How are
I don't
you?
know if she can.
I can hear you.
Here,
Oh.
put that in.
How's it going? Sorry.
Oh, it's going
Horrible. Mom didn't tell me about this.
I know.
crazy.
You have grandchildren now.
Yes, she does. I don't. She goes, you have grandchildren now. I said, yes, she does. I don't.
Mom thinks that even if I were.
Put her in, I'll let you know what it was like. And it was just one of those that I really became addicted to the CCFT because it was the only thing that I'm like, ah, you know. In the beginning, wasn't sure I would like it, and then really acquired a taste for it, even though, and the smell, because at first I'm like, but then I'm like, this is really good stuff. I could do this. But yeah, I think Monday, Tuesday, and part of Wednesday, that was just, I had a piece of toast and nothing but tea.
Wow. Well, you know
Yeah.
what the body says too, when things are coming in, let it process that. So your body learned, as we have spoken in the past, when the body will know, especially the mouth, the tongue, it will know to like just immediately say like no, it will just push it away. So
Yeah.
the food and all, it doesn't want to deal with the vaccination. At the same time, it's trying to digest food and process all this going on because you're getting that vaccination. It's chemical processed. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
synthetic. It's not a real, like you didn't actually contract real bacteria germs. It's a
Yeah.
synthetic version. And you were to the point in the detox where all of your, as we call the layers in the bodies, the koshas in the body have all been heightened and are aware. And then when that comes in, everybody's, all these different layers and things are trying to address this invasion. At the same time, it's trying to release toxins and things. So it's going to process it and get it moving in the system without allowing it to actually settle in. Like if you were not going through a detox and say you still had like layers of inflammation and everything going on, it already had a place to go. But because you were detoxing and removing things on such a deep level,
Right.
there was
Yeah.
nowhere for it to like settle in and attack kind of thing, but you still got the symptoms because of the processing. So it's kind
Ah,
of a
that makes a lot
cool
of
thing,
sense. Yeah.
to be doing this at the same time because
Yeah.
you're getting the benefits of the vaccination in only the places and only that like defensive mode that you need it, but all of the chemicals, the toxins and everything that your body was like, whoa, it had this
That
height.
makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because I literally was going, like, oh, yeah, just yeah, that makes a lot more sense. That really does. Because it took me till Friday until feel that I had even a little normalcy back.
Right.
But it was like when I went to brush, like my skin hurt.
Yes, that's what a lot
And
of
I'm
people.
going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But I would just do that because I just wanted to go into the hot shower and stand in the hot shower. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And that was so funny because I'm like, I just wanted more heat,
Exactly. Your body
constant.
was chilling. So a lot of
Yeah.
times the actual carrier that they push the vaccination into the body, the chemical
Hmm.
reaction on the body sometimes is that cold. Because do you ever get a needle or a shot and immediately you can feel the cold? Like
Yes.
the
Yeah.
actual, trigger. The same thing. It's a chemical reaction in the body of these particular ones for particular like body types and things will really hypersensitive to the coldness of that making its way through your entire bloodstream. So
Yes.
that chill and that, comes along though with the fever, the heightened fever gives you the chills and all that. But maybe you'll
Yeah.
even have a better, longevity of this vaccination,
That would be
having been,
great, right?
so
Yes.
detoxed and open at the time.
Yeah. And what's, I also found it interesting during this thing too. It's like there are certain foods I literally turned away from,
Yeah. The body knew.
literally turned away where I'm like, and then I kind of got like, no, no, yeah, it was weird in a good way, but weird because I didn't realize I'm like, I don't want that,
Yes.
where I
And
would normally go to it.
and you're aware of your body now after going
Yeah,
through like a few months of this and learning to listen to the body's intuition. As we know, the body's brilliant. It's going to tell us what to do if we pay attention.
right.
So I was
Yes.
listening to this recording, and it's so simple. It's really beautiful. It's one of the older mystic teachers of just Indian and kind of that Eastern philosophy. And
Hmm.
he always says, like in his teachings and things, like if you have any kind of invasion from the outside, like a bacteria or something that's coming in, or you have a trauma, like you have to use Western medicine. But the body was born pretty much perfect. And if you listen to it and stay within that and do these detoxes or stay within these, the cycle of eating and sleeping, that circadian rhythm, and do it, really in a ritual as the year goes, like in and out. If you
Hmm.
listen, everything that was created inside, that was created perfectly, is supposed to be that way. And as it gets out of balance, most of the stuff that can be addressed from inside. So instead of, like
Okay.
we were talking on a few other calls, instead of always going to outside sources, continue to look in and see what is changing. What are you doing? What is happening on the outside world that's influencing your inner health? Rather than going to get medication right away or going to see a doctor, to look inside to see what is happening different to you. What are you doing? What are outside forces? What are relationships? What's job going on? How's your digestion? What's affecting you inside that's changing your actual cellular makeup, which we know stress and the mind and the intuitive body, everything is
Hmm.
meant to work like clockwork. It's meant to do its thing in rhythm and, in this beautiful harmony. But life happens. Life happens to all of us.
Yeah.
If we learn how to check in little by little continuously, when we have some kind of a even that like even like type 2 diabetes and high cholesterol, high blood pressure, AFib, like my mother's experience, and some AFib and different, these are all lifestyle and diet. Genetic is, again, there's, little room between, some people say only
Yeah.
70%, some as much as 90% of genetics is, disease is that lifestyle. And a very
Hmm.
small percent is an actual born genetic disease or dysfunction of some sort.
Oh, I believe
The
that.
rest
Yeah.
we bring on ourselves. Somehow we bring it in, but if we're not taught how to recognize it or have, devices within ourselves that we can say, okay, I am so stressed out now, I need to pull it back. And this is what I already know what I'm going to do. Or my digestion is so off, I've been, on the go and I've been eating this. All right, I'm going to sit within quietly and I'm going to get my, digestion, whatever it is, we get to look inside. So when we go through these detoxes, and as you start to do even a few more, like then you do the fall and then the spring, you start to get so much more insight into really wanting to sit down low in a detox and follow your body's intuition. Like, how much does it need to detox? What does it need to detox? Is it more environmental? Is it more digestion? Is it more, work related, relationship, whatever? So
Right.
each time you take a minute in the detox, even if it's 5 minutes in the morning and you're super aware of, like, okay, I'm going to sit for a minute and kind of check in with myself. Something's not feeling right. No, my brain might know, and really like internalize what's going on. These internal illnesses that are slowly going to turn into disease. I mean,
Yeah.
it's obvious. It's in every medical science. There's stages 1 through 6, 1 through 5, 1 through 7, depending on Western, Eastern medicine philosophy. But it is a progression. And until you go in and change something, it doesn't stop progressing. It continues.
I'm going to tell you something that, and I agree with you. I mean, I do because I'm in this, but something very interesting over the last couple months. Um, and it's gonna have to talk about my face, but I will. the stress, you used to see a lot on my face, especially like right around my eyes. And since I started doing the facial massaging and the brushing, but also the breathing, I lose, it's funny, every now and then I'll catch myself like, you know, and I know I'm doing it and I'm like, okay, just a minute. It's all a matter of habit now. But anyway, somebody asked me the other day, they're like, oh, did you get work done? I'm like, no, no, not at all. Well, the bag's under your eyes. And I'm like, I know, but it's not from that. It's from paying attention, again, doing the facial massage every morning, like you told us, and then just focusing on relaxing more than I ever did before in my life
Yeah.
it's key. And to the point where even now, before I go to bed, I've got to do a couple yoga moves. I got to do my stretching and and I get into bed and I'm ready. I'm like ready for sleep,
How
which is
cool.
crazy, but it worked. It's amazing. And it's just funny when somebody asked it, I was like, no, like why? And I'm like, wow, okay. I took a look in the mirror. I said, yeah, they do look better, but that's just from all natural stuff,
Yes.
nothing else.
And each time you recognize something like that, and you know it's coming internally. So, like I said, all
Mm-hmm.
of it's somehow coming internally, whether it's our own doing, or, well, even if it's an outside, unless it's really like a chemical something in our environment, whether it's
Right.
really induced into us almost out of our control, it's coming from within. It's coming from stress, fear, anger, um,
Yeah.
desire, like, that jealousy or whatever, all that contributes to, like, if you are constantly going through wishing you had more like the other person or jealous of someone else for some, that's constantly weighing on you, it's going to settle somewhere. If
Yeah.
you are so driven to the point where you can't pull the plug or take a break for a minute or recognize other things, it's going to start to break the body down. Or in
Yep.
a kapha, so like the kapha gets very, very complacent and then they get very stagnant. And then stagnant energy will settle usually either in some kind of, the beginning will be just like, some mucus or something. And then it'll be,
Mm-hmm.
and then that desire to sit more complacent, be more stagnant, becomes really settled. And then we start the almost the depressive states, which can get really deep and really dark. But
Yeah.
it will progress into other diseases. Usually, like a kapha that's at that point is looking at obesity and diabetes and heart disease. And
Yeah. Wow.
vatas have more of the heart disease because they're more worry and fear based. But that's why going into the detox, the more you have your mind open and just like, all right, let's just see what's going to happen this time. Where are the layers? And I can't believe that the video I did the other day, I was looking and it was showing me the screen that you were seeing it and it's blank, but the layers of that onion, as we
Mm-hmm.
slowly peel off these layers, we see what we get to see inside, that new vibrance, that essence that we all possess. It's all in there, but we
Mm-hmm.
allow the day to day to mold us and say, okay, this is who we are. We're stressed out, or we are just anxious, or I am a person who, back to that statement. That's not it. It's who we go inward, especially at these, twice a year, these junctures, totally
Yep.
inside and find out what needs to come out. What layers are we going to peel off this time that is just not serving us right now?
Right.
Sick, or we're getting stressed, or work is overload, or that desire not to do anything. I mean, it could be one or the other, it could be many things in between. Eating on the run, eating just constant to go food, that's one of the worst because that just
Oh,
settles into
I
food
can't do to go food.
and you
I
don't
can't do
digest it.
fast food.
So then it
No, but I can't
absolutely
even do
becomes
it.
that
Yeah.
undigested toxins.
Yep.
So
And we make everything, we cook at home all the time. That's all we do. And it's interesting because, yeah, I know you're right, but I couldn't stop at a fast food place. I think it
you
would be
walk
just
in and
so
you're like,
not good, so
what would
not
I
good for
choose
me.
now?
Right. What do I do? What do I get? Can I have a bottle of water? I mean, I don't know, a fruit cup. What I mean, but then there's all the sugar in there. So what do you do with that? I don't
Right.
want the sugar. I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
It's to the point like I make my own coffee because I'll use my almond milk or, and I do the espressos, but I get everything from Italy because nothing's processed. I won't even buy American anymore.
Yeah, we have overprocessed our world, but
Yes.
I mean, we're the lucky few who like to cook and understand how to cook and want to kind of create
Yes.
a little bit. But when you go out,
Yeah.
you'll find things that you'll be able to like pick and choose and do rather than just eating anything because you need something filler in your stomach. Like you'll get to the point
Right.
where you don't even choose the filler because you just don't want it. You'd rather wait and have something,
That's what
liquor,
I mean.
butter,
Yeah. I'm like,
or
and I'm actually, I've done it. I'm like, I'll wait till I get home
yeah,
because I'm like, that is not going to be worth it.
yes. So
Jumping
that,
in. I'm sorry I'm late. I was
Hey,
how are you? Sorry, I
good.
have no excuse. I knew the call was happening and I just got to putzing around and all of a sudden Ben was making fun of me for something about you need to just get closer to the earth, Ash, because I've been like saying that. And he's like, oh my God, it's past 7. Damn it. I'm so sorry to be late.
no, that's okay. You can listen to the beginning. Just a quick recap. Maureen had the vaccination and she got like really sick after the second one a little bit, but she was in the midst of like that real deep detox. So the body was recognizing this toxin as so foreign that it processed it and was like, oh no, this thing's getting out of here. So that
Mm-hmm.
the push and what they actually put the chemical through the vaccination A is synthetic. So the body immediately is like, oh, okay, what do I do with this? And
Yeah.
then what they do to actually push it, that what they make it the carrier in, that the body will really react to as like that cold and that chill. And then if you get the fever and all, but because she was fortunate enough right now to be going through that deep part of the detox, the body processed it in and out. So she was feeling all of these different things, the headache, the this, that, and the body ache and all, because the body was recognizing it fast enough to instead of letting it settle, she probably got more of like a double whammy, like, okay, we're taking this in and right now we're so darn clean, this is trying to kill us. Let's all work to get it out of here. So kind of got the twofold, the in and the out. So which,
Yeah.
Is a really good thing because you've got the benefit of, but you got the push out. So but we were just going through how all of this settling on the inside when we got into the detox. And as you get deeper and deeper into it, and the more you are aware that you want to go deeper and deeper into that quiet, into that
Mm-hmm.
inside, like it doesn't have to be, oh my gosh, I have to make a million, recipes right now. And I have to have as long as you'll get to the point where you want even less and less of that. Like, have your smoothie, have your whatever you're ready for. Each detox, you already kind of know how you reacted before. Maybe you need a little more food. Maybe on some days you definitely need more food. Other days you're feeling really light and you're okay and you don't have a super crazy schedule. I'm just going to do really like low intake today. So your body is like really intuitively smart and it will know what to do. And then as you come out of it again, you're on what you came into it as is not what you come back out of it. You're lighter, you're more aware. And I have found personally, I continue to eat that lighter, and that's exactly the purpose. It's to get rid of the winter, that heaviness that we needed in the winter, all those heavy foods,
Mm-hmm.
all that insulation, all that padding, all that warmth. The spring comes in, we detox it all out, we process it, and we could have like skin rashes going through the detox. You can have like little bumps on your skin. You could feel hot. You could feel cold. Like you could have a headache one day. This is the body getting rid of all of this and really, really emerging out of the detox into that late spring, getting ready for now, lots of rain and pollen. The body's cleaner. It's going to process these things faster and easier. And then the heat of the summer comes. A, we're lighter. B, our systems are lighter. Our focus is stronger. So in the winter, it's just like the bears. Even the mind hibernates a little bit. Everything should be a little bit slower, a little dense, a little. So, and after that spring detox, we're supposed to emerge lighter and even more focused. And so that the summer, that we always tend to do more in the summer. We're more focused. Sometimes jobs are harder in the summer. We stay up later. We do more projects. If you do your spring detox like the right way, and as you become more mindful of why you're doing it, you really set yourself up for this summer to be lighter in the mind and the body, the weight. So you're not going to be as hot because you've lost that weight as well. Like you should shed a little bit of that layer. And so you're really prepping yourself to be able to handle the summer. The summer is much more like, it's just more pronounced than the winter, and it's supposed to be. So that's the brilliance of these detoxes.
It like made me feel so, it's like, I don't know exactly how to word it, but I feel like I'm springing forward. Like I feel like I'm emerging. Like my mind is sharper and clearer. Like my job, I've been doing so well because I just feel like I have more clarity
Yes.
and just like less noise. I just feel like things are just awakening a little bit. Like to your point, coming out of that winter doldrum, it's awesome.
That's exactly. And because you did the detox and you've become more aware, you know that this is happening, and you can actually like capitalize on it. Like, you know, you're ready, you're lighter, things are going to process faster, things are going to happen easier. It's not that you have to push yourself to the limits because summertime's coming. You're just going to handle it better, and it won't be such a disruption. Your body will be able to like digest foods easier because you're in the space where you can allow this to happen. You know, the summertime will go through, you're going to be eating lighter diets. It's summer. You just like the desire to make a beef stew in July is probably not going to happen. Like it's not going to be, you know, a big old lamb quarter or something. That might not be what you want to eat. A lot of communities do, but it doesn't serve. Like in the summer with that heat in it, you want lighter and juicy, and you know, like that little bit chillier fruits and things to cool the body down to handle the heat, so that you can continue to, you know, work forward, keep your mind sharp, keep that clarity going, you know, and you kind of perform and do a little bit more in the summertime. You might stay up later, go for hikes, do things where you're sweating, and it'll just be easier on the body. So that's why you know, the rhythm of the cycles and all of the earth are brilliant, as long as you keep your body kind of flowing with them. They're going to help you. They're going to carry you right through to the next season, right through to the next like stage. And you slowly start to jump on this cycle, and it becomes like a part of, like, you'll start to crave those junctures. Like the juncture's coming as you get to the end of a season, you're kind of done with that season. And then the next one is going to just like prepare you to go into the next. So that's why we do the detoxes. And again, if you've had a really good outcome and you really kind of liked what you did and kept any journaling or anything, then you'll actually have some things to look back on or things to carry forward. So any like real detox questions? Did anybody have anything that was like real difficult, super easy, anything, any like really good wins? Anybody have any great results that I had? Sorry, Kevin's phone just rang. He's down there like, and there's no way to
really great result. I was shocked. Like I didn't even want to get on a scale or anything like that, because it's not why I was doing this, you know? And like, you know, I was going through IVF last year, and it didn't have a good outcome. And so I was carrying that with me. And then the hormones alone made me feel very weighed down and very physically, I gained some weight, and I just felt heavy and just really like, and the funny thing is when I took my test, I got more kapha than I ever have. And I'm usually very pitta. And so to your point about that kapha kind of sinking in and like weighing you down, I was very much there. And then starting the cleanse, I like feel like my old self again. Like I have that like fire back and that energy. And I just kind of cleared out some of that like weight, and physically lost like 12 pounds, which is pretty great. But like that it wasn't mine really, you know, like it wasn't like, it felt foreign to have it on me because it wasn't like what I feel like I usually carry. So it was just like, I feel like I emerged kind of refreshed and like myself, and it was hard. I mean, there were days where I was like feeling really emotional and stuff. Like I think things were coming out.
That's exactly. Yeah. You'll feel so emotional some days. Yes. Yeah. It's but that's beautiful. That's fantastic. And it's and that weight, or is like wintertime too, but when you have an emotional, like encapsulated, you know, some kind of a holding, You don't shed. Your body will hold on to it for you. It's that like security blanket. And until something is released, or until you recognize something or let something go, it will not go away. It's not going to just process itself. You have to go in and release it. And sometimes you don't even know you're doing it, but if you're practicing and going in and deeper and deeper and deeper, you hit a point where you recognize something that gets to release. And once it releases, all of a sudden everything starts to shift without, like, it wasn't your intention to go find that, but as you dig deeper, it just gets to come out. Like you found it by accident and it's going to be released.
So
Yes.
yeah, I didn't know it was there until we started. And then when I got into it, and my walks in the morning, like that space, I think to find it really was helpful, you know? So no, I like when you're just like any wins, I'm like, this whole thing was a win for me. It was like, I feel like myself, I feel like just better than I have in a really long time. So
yeah, that is beautiful. That's exactly like one of the results we want to have. It's so beautiful to be like, oh, I feel myself again. Like I feel here I am again, which is like, it's a new birth. It's an absolute, like it's a newness. So the feelings that you just showed right now, like that emotion, I want you to remember that. I want you to feel that. So every time you're so grateful, like you're sitting in the morning, you're sitting doing your, like when I'm doing my meditation in the morning, and sometimes it's like, sometimes I'm awake, eyes open, whatever, but I'm really being, grateful in that gratitude space. Feel that emotion again. That's an elevated emotion that creates change. Every time you feel that and you associate it with something, you actually feel that elevated emotion, that's one step closer to the change, to that new future. Like that old processing is going to stay away. The more you actually feel like that emotion that you just showed us, that like real, true, deep emotion, that's going to change. That's going to make your future different. And that's going to leave the past behind. So whatever it is for us, whatever our real, true emotion, where it makes us want to jump out of our skin with happiness, whether it brings such an emotion, we just want to cry, feel that deepness every time, every single day. Keep feeling that. That's what changes us. It generates they're finally believing now, even in Western science. I was telling you that the neurological science is equating the brain of the heart actually coincides and actually works with the actual brain to change us physically, actually physically change diseases and things within us, and emotions and patterns, and the mind, the hormones, everything. So when you attach it to that actual heart center of that gratitude, that's when real breakthroughs start to happen. But you have to keep doing it every day, like really feel that, and feel that feeling exactly the same as you did the first time. And then keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it every day. Like go forward instead of carrying the, oh, she hurt me in 6th grade and I'm still not going to talk to her, or he broke my heart, so I'll never be the same again. Well, that person got their heart broken. The new person does not have their heart broken. The new person is not that old person. So whatever it is that makes you light up in that joy, or whatever that feeling was, that's where change happens. That's where we reach into every day, and we feel that. And it's like, oh, that's me. That's the new person. That's who I am now. I'm none of this old stuff. And I know it because I feel it.
message. Yeah, because I had never heard it put that way before. I've never heard anyone say that before. Like that, just because who you were isn't who you have to be, isn't who you're gonna be. Like visualize it, think on it, and that's who you're gonna be. And that I was like, wow. Like I remember when you first said that, like it hit me like right here, and I got like teary-eyed. I was like, wow, like just because all that stuff happened in the past for this or that, like doesn't mean that that's who I have to be. Because I didn't ever want to carry those things. They happened, they made me sad, but I wanted to move forward. I didn't know how to
carry those
really.
labels. We carry it forward, and that's we start to believe that identity. Like, oh, that's who we are, so that's who I'm supposed to be. Absolutely not. Like that is 100% not. We're trained almost to keep reliving our past every single day because that's our story. We don't want that story anymore. That's not what that's not who we ever want to be anymore. We lived it long enough. We've had enough of that one. This is the new This is the new identity, and we're emerging into this. And that's what we're going to look forward to every day. What's that new person feel like? How did they wake up? How did they just do a detox? Who do they talk to? Who do they hang out with? Who do they associate with? You know, what's their job like? How much money do they make? What do they like? Live that new, like that new person, you know, how much does, does that person sit in silence and really look inward? How much do they believe in themselves? And you start to believe in that person, and then your circle of 5 people start to change. They start to be people that support you, and your new ability to be this new person might be someone who does stuff with other people that are like-minded, a little bit more elevated, always, hang out with that person that's a little bit a step higher than you, or a little bit different, or a little bit smarter, or a little bit whatever, it's you. And it's not, we never have to focus on what we don't want to do anymore. Like, don't look in that direction. It's always looking forward of what the new person does. What am I doing now? Not, you don't have to keep saying, well, I'm not going to walk in around the block that way anymore. You always just say, I'm choosing to go this way now. So you, instead of addressing the past at all and making that negative, because that could be a negative emotion, you want to move forward with the good emotions and that like beautiful emotion connected, like really at the heart center, living this new person. And that's when it changes. That's when it happens. It's really pretty cool because it works like 100%. Epigenetics is now proving that the genetic makeup that you were born with is most of the time completely different than what happens to you as a child, or any traumas, or the emotional state you grew up in, good, bad, ugly, traumatic, whatever. You begin to change through these circumstances, lifestyle, diet, and your actual genetic makeup, especially if you carry that same bad story or a trauma or whatever through life, your genetic makeup changes. And it usually changes negatively. So if it changes negatively and has given you a disease, say, for the outcome, or something chronically ill, or your hormones off so bad, or whatever it may be, the same way you created it is the way you're going to undo it. So you're going to focus on recreating a positive body and self, and genetically, and it's actually proven now in epigenetics, you can change your actual genetic makeup. You do not have to be this childhood or this person that you brought through. Some people, they could only be 19 and they lose a mom, or they lose a spouse, or they have a really big car accident or something, and genetically that traumatizes the body. Or a 5-year-old or something that went through, maybe something really horrific. It genetically changes them going through, and then disease settles in and all these things. But it doesn't have to. You can actually undo that. And if you, really, really can get into the level of change, you genetically change what has been changed since birth. You can rechange it again. It's really pretty fascinating. And now finally, it's like proven science. Like it is being done all the time. So it's pretty cool. So going into a detox and coming out with that new kind of awareness, keep carrying that forward. That as your mindset now is like this beautiful enrichment that you get to carry, just to change anything of the past that you just don't want anymore. You just don't want a part of that anymore. It doesn't have to be so negative, and it just could be something you just don't want to do anymore, or you don't want to be, or you don't want to feel. You don't have to carry that. So it's pretty neat. But the detox is pretty cool to start us in that direction, like start us off on this lightness and start us off on this trajectory, like up. So any questions on that? That's pretty deep, but it's really, really cool. There's a bunch of I love Dr. Joe Dispenza he's done 10 20 something years now of studying. In the beginning, nobody was listening to him, nobody was listening, and now finally he's showing the results, and he's actually measured science. And so if you look up any of his books, or his now everybody wants him on his on their podcasts and different things. So finally everybody's waking up to different science. The Eastern medicine through the years has been like, take care of the different layers of yourself all the time. As they start to get out of balance, try to bring them back into balance. Or if you start to get a little bit of a disease going in one direction, notice all the little tiny subtle things, like someone who is chronically congested, someone who has chronic heartburn or has anxiety constantly. This is your body telling you the first like little sign something's not right. A skin rash, like little things like that. Even like a chronic ache in your leg or your arm or something. These are all first stages of disease settling in somewhere. Disease settling in is undigested food, undigested emotions, undigested stress. So all these first little stressors lead to then stage 2, and then stage 3, and then, then if you get to stage 4 and cancer is settling in, that's kind of hard to undo. It is doable, but start listening to all the little body cues as they're like little tiny nothings. Oh, I burp all day long. Oh, I do this. I have, I'm anxious all the time when I do something. That's, that's the body giving you a wake up. Just listen to me now, the people with immune and all these different autoimmune, and like with, Katie, she kept pushing and pushing and pushing and having the 4 children so fast. And Katie's a perfectionist, and that pitta, and I'm just going to keep going. Finally, the body's like, pulling the plug. You're not listening to me. I kept giving you little cues, all kinds of digestive things happening and different things. And all right, if you're not going to listen, and the body will pull the plug on you until you say, wake up. I mean, I had it in a different way too. I kept same thing, pushing through and, do. And then finally the body's like, I'm trying to tell you and you're not listening. So I'm going to really tell you got to wake up. So all these little tiny things are just little insights to, be really aware of. And so that's
like interconnected everything is.
Everything.
Like I have an injury on my leg right now. Like I have a circle, like a big circle under my calf. That's like a huge bruise. I've had it for like 2 weeks. And I went to the orthopedist because it wasn't going away. He had my leg, looked at it, and it doesn't really seem like anything. If it's not gone in 2 weeks, come back. Didn't ask me what I'm doing, didn't ask me to move, didn't look at my hips, didn't look at anything. They just look at this one little spot, like, it's not broken. We look at the x-ray, go home. And I'm like, but I'm in pain, like something's wrong. Like, why did this happen? And it's just frustrating. And that's why I love this school of thought, because it's like everything's connected and this leads to this, and like
everything is
in.
Right. So something is settling in, right there, like changes in diet, changes in environment, like something simple like your potassium level, the cramping, the whatever. It's like things will settle. Excessive pitta earlier, like skin things, heat, skin, rash, red, that's all pitta most of the time. Like mucousy things and all that, that's like a kapha, something's going on, kapha imbalance. So you kind of look and where is it generating from? What is the root? What did I do differently maybe 2 weeks ago when it started, whatever? What was I doing differently? What was I eating? Like, how was I sleeping? Like, what was going on differently? So you kind of go back and you re-engineer the situation, what was happening. And instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to fix this, you go deep and say, where did it start? When did it start? What was I doing? And you kind of really, really investigate what was happening at the same time that was going on. How was my stress level? Did you have to go for any testing for the, IVF or anything going differently? Is there anything that might have triggered some settling of, bruising, anemia, things like that? Like, how are your blood levels?
They're all things that, like, you wait and you go to an appointment and they just look at it for 1 second and ask you one question. And you're like, how are you, like, how is this? And people think that we're a little weird, like that we're different for liking to take a holistic and actually dig into things, when like it's acceptable just to look at a patient for 15 seconds.
Right.
It's crazy.
Because you're so specialized. It's, that allopathic, it's, that doctor's in school to take care of, just your bone. Then someone else is just going to take care of your heart, whatever it may be. A lot of times all the hard things are, well, why? What's stressing you out? What is your lifestyle? What is your diet? Like, it's not just that the heart has a default. something happened to cause your heart to start to get in this manner, you know? So it's always connect the dots, always look inside first. Just like, you know, in the detox, when we sit down and kind of go inward, start to do that more regularly so that you know what your norm is. Check your tongue, you know, continue to do all of the things, because it will, even like your bowel movements in the morning, if they're very different and very off, something's different, something's happening. So you start to know what your normal is in everything. And things start to change and happen. You're like, oh, yes, I know, you know, that's right. 2 weeks ago, I was doing this, and again, it takes like, so even your plasma, as you eat something, it takes 5 days to make beautiful, you know, plasma. Then the plasma makes the red blood cells. Then it goes down layer after layer after layer. So to eat really good food 30 days ago, you know, it's just making it to your bone. Like, it's just like, so these things, it's not usually right away. It's throughout, you know, certain sequence of time before it actually makes really good tissue. And the 7 layers, it's got to go through all the way through. And especially so long to go all the way down to the reproductive organs. And then after the reproductive organs, then it's your ojas, then it's your immune system. So you have to build all of the tissue through your body first. It's got to make this beautiful way through of feeding each layer before you build any immune tissue, before you build that ojas, that amazing, you know, essence. So that's why the diet and digestion is so important, because if you don't have good digestion, you don't have good health.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that simply equated. Without digesting the good foods, you're not going to feed the body the layers it's supposed to get that nutrition on those levels. Which, have we ever been taught that? Pretty much eat food because you're hungry.
Yeah.
You know, and make sure you eat enough meat and potatoes and a couple vegetables. Not where is it sourced? What is your body type? Like, what season is it? What are you supposed to be nourishing at this time? And how long it takes for each layer to feed the next layer to build tissue. So the red blood cell then goes into the bone, you know, the fat, the bone marrow. So it takes all these layers. And each one is fed and actually created from the layer prior that you fed. And so it's really this beautiful way that, you know, so you'll start to look at eating better foods differently because you know where they're nourishing you. Like someone who's very depleted, or their bones are achy, or like, you know, that you need really, really good nourishment and you're kind of weirded out about, you know, bone broth. Have bone broth. It's one of the most nutritional things you could feed yourself. And, you know, vegans and vegetarians and all are like, oh no, I can't. But if you can get over that, and if you're not a true vegan for the sense of, you know, the cruelty to animals and all that, and you really need that nourishment, if you're feeling super depleted and you need to build, you might need bone broth. It's like grandmas and everybody else knew that bone marrow and that fed a lot of the body. So
Mm-hmm.
different things like this, you'll start to learn what really works for you, your particular body, what is feeding you, and what, you know, what is desired by the body. It'll tell you what feels really good, what starts to feel like really building, like what feels like it's creating, you know, energy and mind clarity. So try to find your foods, what's really working. You know, maybe a pitta season, you need certain fruits are going to be more cooling for you. You know, if you're feeling very anxious or something, what's going to ground you? What root vegetables really hold you down to the earth? And if you're feeling very coughing and stagnant and kind of like down, what is your food? What are your spices that get you moving, get you fired up, and get you out? So we're all going to go through these different cycles. We'll just find what works good for us. Everybody's body is going to react to it differently. So you have to kind of find what is your tool. What are your sources for, you know, helping these stages go through. Pretty cool. Wait, ladies, we have so much coming on. With so much coming up.
Oh,
I loved your last, you said, I can't remember if it was an email or a video, but you were talking about kind of like our next step, like where we're going and like really going. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. I was so pumped.
Yes, we're going deep. This is going to be fun. We're changing things up, ladies.
I love it.
All right. So, no more questions or no more Any Q&A, or I'll send out, I have there's a great thing you can do, like just a quick, say something was crazy in life or something, you just want to do like a 3 or 4 home day, like you want to spend the weekend kind of doing a detox. There's a really, really quick, short version of this that you're going to do some of the ghee, you're going to do some trifle and things at night, your diet, you're just no snacking, do your water, all this, but it's a really quick program, real fast, and it will jumpstart and get a whole bunch of crap out of you fast, literally.
Cool.
So
Have that as a backup.
Literally.
Seriously, that's a great question though. Actually, I think about the trifla.
mhm.
Is there anything bad to take that regularly? Are you not supposed to take that every day? Should we kind of not take it when we're on
Oh,
detox?
you can take that. Some Ayurvedic doctors will say you could take that forever, and then others, if you're an extreme vata imbalance, meaning the dry side, and because it's fat soluble, you kind of want to take it with a ghee or something, especially if you are vata, like very high vata. But you can take that. It's really, really good for you. Some Ayurvedic doctors will say, take it 6 months and then don't take it for a month or so. Then you can take it 6 months more. But no, it's especially if you have more of that kapha and where your lining is protected and all that, you can take it, especially, it's really, really good for you. But you don't like in a cleanse, you might overdo it a little bit for the purpose of elimination, but a maintenance could be 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon, every night instead of like that full teaspoon or something. So see but it's very good. All right. What is next week? Next week. All right. We can go into, next week is May already. All right. So we're going to go right into it, like a whole nother, a new, kind of like a new quarter. So we're going to readdress a whole bunch of stuff and we're going to go in deeper. So we'll start that next week. Okay. Unless you want to wait one more week till after Mother's Day, the weekend after. Do you want 1 week off?
That's up to you.
Because
I like the momentum, but
me too. Okay.
Yeah.
You know me.
I'm used to every Tuesday.
Yeah. All right. Let's do that. Then let's keep to it. So we'll do an introduction like next week, and then we'll go back in. We'll kind of like set up our thing, and then I think we have a few other girls joining in with us. Maybe Megan wants to just join in and get like a little, see if she has any schedule just for the information, like just for her to.
Oh yeah, she's gonna need de-stressing big time.
She's gonna need just the information and be able to process it.
Yeah, agreed.
So, all right. And Ash, if you know anyone that would really benefit from this or, has any desire to kind of just give us a holler. Have her
curious, like it's funny, like you say, people start seeing change and seeing me feel really good and doing well. And people are like, oh, what are you doing? What's this? Like, I fed the whole family, like vegetarian lunch, and we all went for a walk after, you know what I mean? So it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple months people are like, oh, what are you doing? Really, really, so.
Yeah. Good. Well, that's the more we spread it, even in our circles and stuff, the more people are going to benefit from it. So
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. See you next week, ladies. Great call.
Night, ladies.
Thank you. And I'll send over the quick cleanse.
Cool. Thank you. All
right. Have a good night, ladies.
Bye.